Metaverse Art Unveiled. The concept of art has always been tied to a physical reality, a canvas stretched over a wooden frame, a block of marble chipped away to reveal a form, a photograph developed in a darkroom. These are objects of substance, things we can stand in front of, touch, and see degrade over centuries. But what happens when art sheds its physical form entirely? What happens when it becomes pure data, an experience, an idea given life not by pigment or stone, but by code and processing power? This isn't a far-flung future. It's the paradigm shift happening right now, driven by the sprawling digital frontier we call the metaverse. This new realm is forcing us to fundamentally reconsider our most basic assumptions about creation, scarcity, and what it truly means to own a piece of our culture. At the heart of this revolution is a technology that, for many, is still shrouded in hype and confusion: the non-fungible token, or NFT. To understand metaverse art, we must first look past the headlines of multi-million-dollar JPEG sales and see the NFT for what it truly is: a radical new system for establishing provenance. In the traditional art world, an artwork's value is inextricably linked to its history, its chain of ownership, its exhibition record, its mentions in critical essays. This is its provenance, and it's often a messy, paper-based trail susceptible to forgery and loss. The NFT replaces this fragile system with a cryptographic one. It acts as a digital certificate of authenticity, permanently recorded on a blockchain. This means that for the first time in history, a digital file, something that can be copied infinitely with perfect fidelity, can have a verifiable, unbreakable chain of ownership. Every time the artwork is sold, that transaction is etched into the public ledger, creating an incorruptible history accessible to anyone. This solves the foundational problem of digital scarcity. An artist can now mint a one-of-one edition of a digital painting, and the market can trust that it is, in fact, the single authentic original. But the implications run far deeper. Smart contracts, the programmable code embedded within an NFT, can automate rules that were previously unenforceable. An artist can, for instance, program a perpetual royalty into their work, ensuring they receive a percentage of every future sale on the secondary market. This is a seismic shift, offering creators a continuous revenue stream and a direct stake in the long-term value of their own work, something the traditional art world has struggled to provide for centuries. It's a system that empowers the creator in an unprecedented way, directly connecting them with their collectors without the need for traditional intermediaries who often take a significant cut. This isn't just a new way to sell art, it's a fundamental restructuring of the art economy itself. But metaverse art is more than just the financial and logistical framework of NFTs. It's also about the spaces where this art is displayed and experienced. Early virtual worlds like Decentraland, Somnium Space, and CryptoVoxels have become the testing grounds for the gallery of tomorrow. Here, architects and curators are unconstrained by physics or budget. They can build sprawling, gravity-defying structures, design galleries inside volcanoes, or create exhibition halls that float in a digital nebula. Visiting these spaces is a surreal experience. You navigate with an avatar, walking through halls where digital sculptures pulse with light, and video art plays on walls that shimmer and change texture. You can meet the artist's avatar, discuss the work with other collectors from around the globe, and purchase a piece with a simple click, the NFT being transferred to your digital wallet instantly. These are not just websites, they are social, spatial experiences that restore a sense of presence and community to the act of viewing online. This represents a profound philosophical departure. For 500 years, since the Renaissance perfected the illusion of three-dimensional space on a two-dimensional plane, Western art has been largely dominated by the static image in a frame. The metaverse shatters that frame. Here, art can be kinetic, interactive, generative, and immersive. It can respond to the viewer's presence, change over time according to external data feeds like weather patterns or stock market fluctuations, or exist as a temporary, shared experience rather than a permanent object. The very materials of the artist are no longer just paint and clay, but code, algorithms, and virtual reality engines. This shift from art as object to art as experience challenges us to update our vocabulary and our value systems. How do we critique a piece that is different for every person who views it? How do we conserve an artwork that is written in a programming language that may one day become obsolete? We are moving from a world of passive observation to one of active participation, where the line between the viewer and the artwork begins to dissolve. The metaverse, therefore, isn't just a new venue for art. It's a catalyst, forcing a re-evaluation of its purpose and form in the 21st century. The canvas is no longer a window into another world, it's a portal you can step through. Block 2. Galleries beyond walls. The digital tidal wave crashing onto the shores of the art world is creating a fascinating and turbulent landscape. On one side, we have the grand, centuries-old institutions, the museums and galleries that have acted as the gatekeepers and custodians of our cultural heritage. On the other, a new breed of native metaverse galleries is emerging, built from the ground up on the principles of decentralization, global access, and digital-first creativity. The tension and interplay between these two worlds define the current era, raising critical questions about adaptation, preservation, and the very function of a gallery in an age where walls are optional. For the established players, the transition is fraught with immense challenges that go far beyond simply creating a virtual tour of their physical spaces. Their entire operational and philosophical model is being tested. Consider the challenge of curation. A physical museum is defined by its limitations: finite wall space, the cost of shipping and insuring precious objects, and the physical endurance of its visitors. These constraints force curators to make difficult, meaningful choices. In the metaverse, you have a theoretically infinite canvas. A gallery can be as vast as a city, capable of displaying thousands of artworks simultaneously. How does a curator guide a visitor through such a space without it becoming an overwhelming, incoherent mess? The new role of the curator might be less about selecting what to show and more about designing narrative pathways, creating personalized journeys, and using data to understand how visitors interact with art in a virtual environment. The curator becomes an experience architect, crafting stories in a four-dimensional space of not just height, width, and depth, but also time and interactivity. Then there is the monumental task of preservation. Museums are masters of conservation, experts in controlling temperature, humidity, and light to protect fragile canvases and sculptures for future generations. But how do you preserve a piece of generative code? Or an interactive VR experience? Digital formats become obsolete, platforms go bankrupt, servers are shut down. This is the specter of link rot on a cultural scale. A masterpiece of metaverse art could be lost forever simply because the company hosting its data fails. This is forcing a radical rethinking of archival strategy. Institutions are now exploring decentralized storage solutions like Arweave, a protocol that aims to store data permanently across a distributed network, creating a permaweb. They are also grappling with how to document interactive and generative art. Is it enough to save the code, or do you need to record countless video playthroughs to capture its essence? Preserving a static object is one thing, preserving a living, breathing digital entity is another challenge entirely. In stark contrast, native metaverse galleries are thriving precisely because they are unburdened by this institutional legacy. They are agile, experimental, and global from their inception. For them, the unique properties of digital art are not problems to be solved, but opportunities to be embraced. They are pioneering new monetization models that are simply impossible in the physical world. Fractional ownership, for example, allows a collective of smaller collectors to pool their funds to acquire a significant piece of digital art, democratizing access to high-value assets. They are also masters of community building, using platforms like Discord and Twitter to foster direct relationships between artists and collectors, creating vibrant ecosystems around their exhibitions. These galleries host live events, avatar parties, and artist talks that attract a global audience, breaking down the geographical and socioeconomic barriers that have long defined the exclusivity of the traditional art world. The opportunities this new paradigm presents are truly transformative. For the first time, an artist in Lagos can exhibit their work alongside an artist in Tokyo, in a gallery visited simultaneously by collectors in New York and Sao Paulo, all without a single piece of art being created or shipped. This unparalleled global access has the potential to diversify the art world in a way we have never seen, elevating voices and aesthetics that have been historically marginalized by a Western-centric market. Furthermore, the interactivity of the medium allows for exhibition experiences that are profoundly personal and engaging. Imagine an exhibit that adapts to your gaze, bringing artworks you linger on into sharper focus or providing additional information in real time. Or a historical exhibition that allows you to step into a perfect virtual reconstruction of an artist's studio. These are not just enhanced viewing experiences, they are entirely new modes of learning and engagement, turning the gallery from a passive repository into an active, responsive environment. The challenge for traditional institutions is to learn from these nimble upstarts, to integrate these new tools and philosophies without losing the scholarly rigor and custodial responsibility that defines them. The future likely lies not in a complete replacement of the old by the new, but in a hybrid model where the physical and the digital enrich and inform one another. Block 3. The Experiential Future. As we push beyond the current landscape of NFTs and rudimentary virtual galleries, we find ourselves on the cusp of an even more profound transformation. The future of art in the metaverse is not just about changing how we buy or view art, but about fundamentally altering the very nature of sensory experience and human creativity. We are moving towards a future where the gallery is not a place you visit, but a reality you inhabit, a fully immersive, multisensory, and deeply personal encounter that blurs the lines between artist, art, and audience. The speculative technologies and concepts being developed today are laying the groundwork for an artistic renaissance where the only limit is the human imagination, augmented by the boundless potential of the digital realm. One of the most exciting frontiers is the integration of advanced sensory feedback. Our current digital interactions are almost entirely audiovisual, but what if you could touch the art? Companies are developing haptic bodysuits that can simulate a vast range of sensations, from the gentle pressure of a breeze in a virtual landscape to the vibrating hum of a digital sculpture. Imagine an installation where you feel a chill as you approach an artwork depicting a glacier, or feel the rhythmic pulse of a generative piece synced to your own heartbeat. The artwork could communicate not just visually, but through the language of touch. This extends beyond haptics. Scent delivery systems could release the smell of damp earth in a virtual forest installation, or the metallic tang of an industrial piece. This synesthetic approach, where senses are intentionally blended, promises to create experiences of unparalleled emotional depth and realism, making art something that is felt by the entire body, not just seen by the eyes. This multi-sensory future will be powered by another revolutionary force, artificial intelligence. We are already seeing the rise of AI-driven generative art, where artists collaborate with complex algorithms to create stunning visuals. But the future is far more interactive and personal. Envision an artwork that is, in essence, a creative AI. It doesn't just display a pre-rendered image, it actively generates a unique visual and auditory experience in real time, based on the viewer's presence and even their biometric data. A sensor might read your emotional state through your heart rate and facial expressions, and the AI could alter the artwork's colors, tempo, and form to reflect or contrast with your mood. The piece you experience would be uniquely yours, a fleeting collaboration between your own biology and the machine's creativity. The gallery becomes a mirror, reflecting a personalized masterpiece back at the viewer. This leads to the concept of the adaptive exhibit. The static, white cube gallery is a product of physical constraints. In the metaverse, the environment itself can be as dynamic as the art it contains. The gallery space could reconfigure itself around you as you move through it. Walls could melt away to reveal new artworks, gravity could shift, and the architectural style could morph from classical to brutalist based on the theme of the pieces you are viewing. This creates the ultimate curated journey, where the environment is an integral part of the artistic narrative. This convergence of art, architecture, and AI will give rise to what we might call sentient spaces, environments that are aware of their inhabitants and dedicated to creating the most impactful artistic experience possible for them. Ultimately, the boundary between the physical and digital will dissolve into a phygital reality. We won't have to choose between a physical gallery and a metaverse one. Augmented reality glasses will overlay digital information and artworks onto physical spaces. A traditional sculpture in a museum might be surrounded by a swirling digital aura visible only through AR, telling the story of its creation. A simple framed QR code on a gallery wall could be a portal to a vast immersive VR world related to the physical painting next to it. Artists will create diptychs, where one half is a physical canvas and the other is a digital token that evolves over time. This hybrid approach leverages the best of both worlds, the tangible, historical weight of the physical object and the dynamic, limitless potential of the digital experience. It acknowledges our innate desire for physical presence while embracing the new dimensions of reality that technology unlocks. This is the ultimate fulfillment of the metaverse's promise, not to replace our world, but to add magical, invisible layers of information and experience to it. The gallery of the future is everywhere, and art is no longer just something we look at. It is a fundamental part of the fabric of our enhanced reality.